You are now listening to Oversaturated, the podcast, hosted by Johnnie and Ralph. Now let's get it.
Episode of Oversaturated, the podcast, where we discuss music, movies, pop culture, and everything in between. I'm Johnnie.
And I'm Ralph.
Welcome to episode number 103.
103!
Yeah.
You know, I'm Ralph. Ralph the Snowman today.
Ralph, that's the energy we on?
You know, hey man, Jesus Snowman, 103, Ralph the Snowman. That's what I'm doing.
Turn up.
Trap.
Young Thug. New listeners, please follow us on all social media. Facebook, just search Oversaturated the Podcast. Twitter is Oversat Podcast. Instagram is Oversat the Podcast. And our email is oversatpodcast@gmail.com. And check out our website, oversatthepod.com. Anything you need to know about OS is there.
And if you want to follow us individually, I am the Mind of Ralph on Instagram and Twitter.
On Twitter, I'm JON, 2 underscores, the letter B. Instagram, I'm JBS_ESL_AAMU. And also, shout out to Brittany Jones. She is the writer and curator of Confessions of a Pop Culture Freak, a blog that is exclusively available on oversatthepod.com. Make sure y'all check that out.
Yeah, man. Another week. We're back.
We back. We bike. Ain't the people saying?
Bike.
That's weird. But anyway.
BYK. Bike. Yeah. We back though, man.
How you feeling, bro?
It's been a long week. I'm not gonna hold you. I think that's what adds to the tiredness you hear in my voice. But I always try to bring that good energy for the pod.
Right.
But it's just it's been a long. Like I say, it's a long week. Like work was just kicking my ass. It was just a lot, bro. Like you would send me something about the pod. I'm like, hey, bro, I don't really
like it
right now. And it wasn't nothing personal. It's just the word. Like it was just like life is just doing this to me right now. I didn't have the energy to really think about anything.
And that's okay. And that is okay. It happens. It happens. Listen, I saw you post your lock journey.
Listen, 1 year, baby.
I didn't even realize it's been a year, but you started it during
in the middle of the pandemic. You know what I'm just saying?
The panini.
The panini. Oh yeah, I said panini.
I thought you were trying to say panties, but
I don't know, man. It didn't come out right. But yeah, panini. But yeah, still no. I started it like when we was on Zoom, so you ain't see none of the real struggle, like none of that.
Listen,
we ain't see each other till probably October, like,
and that was just some random shit, wasn't it? Like you came out to the tennis court.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
During the quarantine started maybe end of March last year, and I didn't see my mans no more until October.
About months.
And even after that, not until February of this year.
Damn.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Damn. It's life though.
I know, man.
Life in the panorama.
Yeah,
that's what people been saying. But no, I'm good, man. Work was actually crazy for me last week too.
Yeah.
Just real busy first of the month shit, and I'm back on the tennis court. I joined a spring World Team Tennis League. So we had our first match last Monday. That was dope.
Okay.
And then today, Sunday tennis out in Park in East St. Louis started again too. So I was out there this morning for a couple hours. So I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. Pun intended.
Get back in shape. Well, you're in shape, but
Well, don't let the slenderness fool you. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm in shape. Like I won't be I tried to run a mile recently.
Mm-hmm.
My mile was it was trash. It was 13 and a half minutes.
Did you stop?
No, I didn't stop.
Well,
but still, listen. My mile used to be maybe 9.5 minutes. So, but that was hella ago. I was really in the thick of it.
I was about to say you can't compare yourself now to then. You know what I'm saying? That's different. That's different.
I'm 33 with a gut. I can't be doing all extra shit.
You know what? Off the dome. This got a good. I'm fucked the fuck. Clearly, I was triggered.
And I didn't mean it, bro. I didn't mean anything. I didn't think about this right. All right, I'm going first.
All right.
All right, look. So I actually saw this on social media.
Okay.
And I thought this was an interesting question.
Okay.
You get invited to a party by two characters. You get invited to a party by Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne. Same night, same time. Which one you going to?
Oh, Tony Stark easily. That's not even a talk with me. We talking about the billionaire playboy. Like he went to shits. You know, a Tony Stark party is gonna be lit.
No facts.
Bruce Wayne leaves his parties to go fight crime. Like
or he stays there and the crime comes to the party.
Right.
Like I'm not going.
We know what we getting into with Tony Stark. I'm good, baby. I am straight. Oh, Bruce. Nah.
I'm talking about a man that wore his Iron Man suit and was like shooting
drunk
glass.
He was drunk at the party.
Poster beams.
In his
like,
suit, right? Yeah.
No,
that's
I'm trying to be there.
No Bruce Wayne parties for me.
Damn.
You become a hostage. You know what I'm saying? Rob out, woman pull up. You know, not us.
The ruler come in, speaking in tongues and shit. Like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I'm going home. All right. Well, all right. Don't. Man, so.
Mine will be more of the music side. You know, people come out with like a great energy, a great like first wave or first album or whatever, and they kind of tear off for whatever reason. You know, whatever reason happens. Like, who do you think could benefit from another album right now because of that? You know, somebody that just needs to, like, you think that needs like a good project out there right now.
The first person that came to my mind was Cardi B.
Ooh. Even with the ups on right now?
I mean, like, so something that I feel like I haven't seen in a long time with rappers.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that Cardi B has done in the past few years. So, like, she's been able to work her singles for years. Like, Bodak Yellow was out a year, damn near 2 years before her album came out, and the shit was, like, sticking. Yeah. I think they tried. She had a single last year. What was the single last year? Was it
Money? Probably.
Yeah. So, and they tried to do the same thing with Money. I don't think that stuck like Bodak Yellow did. Mm-hmm. But now with Up, like, I feel like Up is kinda like that. But I feel like if Cardi put out an album right now, especially when outside is kind of opening back up, I've been seeing some wild videos from Florida, like different cities in Florida, people just out. I think Cardi would really benefit from actually having an album out right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like people been waiting. It's been a minute since Invasion of Privacy.
3 years. Right?
Yeah.
Just to kind of, you know, come back to that point and piggyback off everything you're saying. Yeah, Up is a good song, but we can't compare everything to Bodak Yellow. I think that's the unfair, you know, thing because that single was so monstrous.
But agreed. But I feel like they're trying to chase the success of what Bodak Yellow was. It'll never be another Bodak Yellow, but they're trying to duplicate it. Mm-hmm. I feel
but no, I mean, to say she can benefit from that, absolutely. Because I mean, Cardi is going to make songs for outside, for parties, for radio, for situational type things. So yeah, like I get that. I was thinking that Sci-Hi needs a project. That's my answer. Sci-Hi the Prince needs something. And it's not because of lack of like money or anything like that. You know, Sci-Hi writes, so he gets his money that way. But I'm just thinking from the standpoint of his individual artistry. Like, you haven't really seen anything from him. No Dope on Sundays was a great album for, I think it was 2017. And just thinking about, I don't think he's really had any projects since then. He might have had a song here and there, but I don't think it's been like even a Black History 3 or, you know, some mixtape, some EP. It's just been, you know, radio silence. And then, you know, obviously, you know, the situation that happened with him in Atlanta. So, you know, maybe that could derail any momentum he had for any album or project he had coming. But I think Sci-Hi, not saying he needs like the Cardi, he's not going to have the Cardi effect. Right. But just for him as an artist, I think that putting his album out would be, you know, or something, you know what I'm saying?
It's interesting you mentioned Sci-Hi. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but, and I'm still, it's the details of this are still a little murky for me, but he was releasing like videos or something on Tidal at some point last year. Okay. And maybe even some earlier this year. I don't know if these were like videos to an album that he's like trying to drop or what. Yeah. But these are like music videos to songs that he's written. But he's been in like It's kind of like a series. He's in like an orange jumpsuit. He's rapping over like instruments, and he even has skits. I think he had Chico Bean on one skit and like some other people. Again, I'm not sure what it is. I've only seen clips of it on Facebook, but I don't know if it's like if this is a rollout to an album or what, because I haven't really heard much other from it.
And then, I mean, obviously we have to halt for real life. Like that assassination attempt is nuts, especially for somebody that we don't even think that has that type of energy side. So maybe that has like you said, he can put a halt to things like that, because I know that he has enough creative control, especially with Kanye being. I think if he still signed to good music or not, Sci-Hi can dictate when and where he wants to drop. Facts. So it's not like he's constricted by any contractual obligations or whatever. So
Right.
So I just hope it'd just be nice for Sci-Hi to be out here.
I would love some new music from Sci-Hi.
Yeah, I would.
100%. So yeah, the dope answer.
But no, that was off the dome, people. If you could, think of any artist that could benefit from an album or project or even a new single right now, who would it be?
Well, I think I know y'all answer, but if you could go to a party, Tony Stark or Bruce Wayne, where are you going?
Hey, somebody might want to go to the Bruce party, man.
Listen, after hearing our explanation, damn it, I hope they don't. Unless they just want to be captured. I don't know.
Hey, man.
I don't know.
Somebody might like the uptick party, you know what I'm saying? The stick up your ass party, because that's pretty much the parties you have.
True. It's like every time too. Like
it's never like a turn.
And your security is trash. You a billionaire. Like, what you doing? You secretly Batman. Like, all right, never mind. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. But I hate to start here, but we have to. We talked about it last week, but this week, our hearts are heavy. The world is mourning the loss of hip hop icon, hip hop legend, Earl Simmons. AKA Dark Man X, better known as DMX, died from complications of a drug overdose. He was left in a vegetative state for a few days. The internet killed him a day early, which is quite unfortunate. Johnnie, your thoughts?
So, DMX passed away on Friday, and I personally had a terrible day Friday at work. Like, so I was really awful. Like, once I finished the posting of like the OS, clips and all that, I was off social media for the rest of the day because I was just busy and it was a terrible day. Friend of mine called me just on some, checking up type shit, and he was like, "Did you hear about DMX?" I was like, "Nah, I know he was in the hospital. What happened?" And then he told me. I was like, "Oh man." So I wasn't even really able to process it. Honestly, definitely not Friday, but not even Saturday either, because I was kind of busy on Saturday. So this morning, just thinking about it, it's like I know it had to be a tough decision for his family to be like, let's go ahead and let him go. Yeah, but man, I think I'm okay with the fact that he's not suffering anymore. Yeah. Because I know this is a battle that he's had for some years. Yeah. So the fact that he's not like suffering anymore, I think I'm content with that. But my condolences definitely go out to his family, friends and family, and all his fans. It's just like, man. Yeah.
It's people that really like looked up to X. Yeah. Like, it was a video of Drag On. Like, it's rare that we even have a Drag On sighting. Right. You know what I'm saying? All jokes aside. But I was like, I'm not looking at that video. Yeah. I'm not looking at this.
And even seeing people say they were okay until they heard the song Slippin'. Like, I know I can't listen. I'm not going to be able to listen to that for a long time. Like, that's not the first song I'm going to.
You know what fucked me up? You remember the video that they did the tribute to Aaliyah, the Miss You video, I Miss You? Yeah. Remember they had, like, anybody that was in the music industry that fucked with Aaliyah, like, on a personal level, they were in that video. Right. DMX opened the video talking about, I know why God wanted you next to him. And I'm like, nah, we not doing it. We can't do it. We not doing it. I was like, why did they clip this up and put this out here? Who did this? Like, but I get it. I was just like, I'm not doing it. But I think with me, what made the whole situation easy to digest was the fact that we kind of were in break, like getting ready for it. Like, it wasn't, it wasn't sudden. And that's not no slight to, X losing his life or, his family, his friends, his kids or whatever. But it's just like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing that made Kobe like that hurt.
It's just it was just random. Like,
it just random. It just happened, and this is random too. But at least we were getting reports all week to kind of well, X is here. He's getting better. Oh no, he's not. It's kind of like we had that battle for a week, and it's just damn. Like I hate social media to an extent that people want to be the first to post. Like when DMX passed, quote unquote, Thursday, I was just like, okay, let me go check for a link because I'm not running with the narrative until I get a verified verified news article, and people just going back and forth, and I was just like, see, if I was his child and I see y'all kill my daddy on social media, I would be so heated. I would be so distraught because, to make it personal, and I hate to make it personal, but I'll exclude who the person was. But when my dad was fighting for his life, someone posted that he died before I got the call. So stuff like that, I'm like,
oh no, that's
yeah. So my daddy's my daddy. I love him, but DMX, like that's he got slew of kids. Don't get me wrong, but imagine if they weren't able to tell you yet.
No, that's real. That's real. Like I don't understand the need to want to be the first to post something like that. I don't get it. I do not understand it. And like Ralph was just saying, like, what if they weren't able to contact all of his immediate family yet? Like he has multiple children.
He has multiple children by multiple women.
Yeah,
you never know who he was romantically involved with at the time. Like all we know is the ex-wife. We don't know anybody after her. So we don't know who he was involved with. We don't know the mother of these children. Like we don't.
I don't know if he has any siblings. I don't know. We don't know DMX personal life like that. We don't know his next of kin. So it's like give it grace. Give it a grace period before you start posting stuff, especially if you don't have a confirmed source yet. Let the immediate family be contacted to let them know so they can start their grieving process before going to see it out on the damn internet.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But one thing I will say, like, and even in death, like, you haven't heard anything bad about X. Like, we know X had his struggles, whether it be, the drug addiction or just, X being X. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was never, like, anything about him being rapey or anything that. Like, nothing malicious, like, even him, like, being, like, he had his fallout with his kids, but he got back right with them, too.
Right.
Like, because the oldest kids was, like, calling them out, but he got back good with them. And now, maybe they're in peace, too. So
I've been lucky enough to see like celebrities and people who have had encounters with DMX say how much of a great guy and how much he was just willing to talk. Yeah. Like that was great to see because you don't really hear that too much about a lot of celebrities.
One thing you don't realize, like, and now that it's kind of like DMX really was the people's champ. Yeah. Like he bared everything in his music and he left nothing. That's why you feel like everybody can relate to Earl Simmons in some type of way. I know he's this hard-nosed man from Yonkers, New York. I've never been to Yonkers. I know, you know what I'm saying? But just every hood got somebody like him. Word. And he, like, that's what makes it feel like it's so personal. You feel like that's an uncle, cousin, maybe a father to son, like, I don't know. But I think that's the energy X gave off. So
yeah. He had a tremendous career, not only as a musician but as an actor. I think he lived his life to the fullest.
He lived a full life. Yeah, I know 50 sounds very, very young.
It does.
But the things that he's experienced and the things that he's accomplished can't be duplicated. Word. Like y'all heard the accolades before. We don't even have to run down all that. Like DMX is just one of our greats, and he was here while he was here too. So I'm glad that he was able to get his flowers while he was here amongst us. Word. Rather than now in death, people want to bring up, look at what he did. Look at this. Look, no. DMX was always the topic of conversation. Yeah, definitely. X was always the topic of conversation. So
yeah, man. Rest in peace to DMX.
Rest in power, King.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's start with let's try some more uplifting news. Maybe the news people can use. St. Louis has elected its first African American female mayor, Tashara O. Jones. Mayor-elect Jones will be what's the term? Is it inaugurated for a mayor?
I believe so.
Yeah, sometimes soon.
I think it's all the same. Yeah. Okay,
but St. Louis black women out here making history in the city of St. Louis, and I just want to highlight that. Johnny, do you have any thoughts?
It's a dope time, honestly, in Missouri politics, to be honest, because I feel like at least in St. Louis City and St. Louis County, there are a lot of high-ranking black elected officials. Mm-hmm. Like the county prosecutor is a black guy.
Yeah.
Well, we don't really.
Wesley Bell, he is black.
He kind of fucked up though, cause he ain't. Anyway, so we got Wesley Bell. We got Tashara Jones now. We got Corey Bush, who was a Missouri representative, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. She's representative.
Yeah. So we got a lot of. We have a lot of black people in high elected official positions here in Missouri currently, which is dope. So I don't live in St. Louis City, so I couldn't vote for her. Mm-hmm. But I'm interested to see what she has planned for the city.
Yeah.
So it's a lot that I feel like she's going to help the city like build and stuff like that. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, and then I live in a completely different state, so this really doesn't affect me, but it does. Because I mean, when you live in a general area like this, and the biggest city technically is St. Louis, like the biggest area is has a black mayor, that does mean something. But it's interesting to see it, what I'm saying, because we know how St. Louis give it up, so
Facts.
To see that everybody has galvanized themselves around this black woman and elected her mayor, that's dope. I just want to see what she does. Like I said, I don't live in St. Louis, so it doesn't necessarily affect me directly, but indirectly, just by maybe businesses I might patronize and things like that, or just city tax. I mean, I still technically work in the city of St. Louis.
Yeah, that's the thing. And the people elected to keep the city tax a thing. So it was on the ballot that you could get rid of the city tax, which is like 1% of your earnings or whatever. Mm-hmm. But they elected to keep it just to, I guess, to make sure the city stays like up to date and stuff like that. The potholes and all that type of stuff. So anyway, shout out to Tashara Jones.
Yep.
Very, very interested to see what she has planned for the city. And I think the mayor is a 4-term.
4 years.
4 year, yes. Yeah. A 4-year term. That's what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. No, listen, I don't really know about all type of stuff.
So. No.
So
no, you should.
I should. No, I should. I know. I should. No, it's okay. Hold me accountable. Listen, yeah.
But speaking of mayors and elected officials giving people jobs, let's talk about Paul Pearson, his new job opportunity.
Word.
Paul Pearson has been offered $250,000 job as an NBA analyst with strippers.
Oh man!
Pretty much because of him getting fired due to his IG Live that didn't have a lot of people on it in the first place.
Okay, let's start here. Did you see the video from the IG Live?
I guess I seen it. Yeah, maybe not the full thing, but yeah, enough.
So, from what I saw, Paul Pierce was on IG Live getting a massage from. I'm assuming these are strippers. He was getting a massage from a stripper. She was in a bra and panties. Mm-hmm. Simple, right? But then, okay, so this is funny to me. There was another stripper who was literally just in the middle of the floor, just twerking. Yeah. Like there was nobody around her. There was like an office chair next to her. Like it was funny to me. Like why is she? Like why are y'all here? What is happening here?
Okay, it's layers to this, right? I'm gonna start serious before I get these jokes, right? Okay. Paul Pierce is an NBA Hall of Famer. Yes. He'll get there soon. He's not in there yet. NBA legend to some. I don't, depends on who asks, who you ask. And for him to do this on IG Live, like you're an NBA rookie, that speaks volumes, man. Now, I'm not judging because if that's how you kick it, that's how you kick it.
Right.
Trust me. I would kick it like that too if I was Paul Pierce, but I wouldn't do it on camera.
Right.
I wouldn't go on IG Live.
That's the
so
thing.
I'm not knocking that, but you gotta read the room, my pal. Like, you are employed by ESPN. I'm pretty sure they pay you a generous salary more than what this company is offering you.
ESPN is owned by Disney.
Yeah, well, that and in the midst of the entire Deshaun Watson situation, you getting a massage online, like, I'm not saying he's taunting, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, you gotta read the room.
I didn't even put two and two together.
Oh yeah, you gotta.
Damn.
You gotta start looking at that thing. That's a little wild right there, man. But shout out to Paul Pierce, man. He gonna be alright, man. It's like 100%. But I don't necessarily think this is an invasion of necessarily like privacy or anything like that. Like, he can do what he wants. Yeah, he can do what he wants. Just don't publicize it, fam. Like, you are an employee of ESPN, their NBA Countdown show, The Jump, all that stuff that they have on ESPN. Fam.
Yeah, the biggest thing here is, why was my man's recording? That's the only thing.
It's like,
no, just recording, period. I was gonna say,
and then you're a basketball player, fam. Like, we know that's probably how you kick it, especially if you're single. Like, okay, cool,
just live.
But
we don't care.
The thing is, I would say this: people aren't tuning in to ESPN to hear Paul Pierce's takes on certain subjects. I'm
gonna be honest with you. I didn't even know he was an analyst.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, he's an entire analyst. But people might watch the show that he's on, but they're not tuning in specifically for him.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He's not Stephen A. He's not Max. He's not any. He's not Beaumont. He's none of them.
Oh my goodness.
So people aren't tuning in to hear your takes.
Well, no, I can feel that. You know what's wild though? Who was it? Was it Cam Soda? Who?
Cam Soda. Yeah.
Offered him $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's light work.
Oh, that is. I mean, trust me. His rookie contract was more than this. Man.
But Cam Soda probably doesn't have millions to just shell out for that type of.
Well, hey, OnlyFans then probably got Cam Soda out the paint. I think that's what's happening here. And it's like, sidebar. Let's get into this.
Let's do it.
Like, remember we had the conversation a few weeks ago after we recorded about Triller. I think Triller purchasing Versus or doing the partnership with Versus was because TikTok was starting to get them out the paint.
Yeah.
Like, Triller started doing other stuff because virtually Triller is what TikTok is. TikTok is just more hip. It has all the functionalities, but it's virtually the same app if you ask me. Because when I downloaded Triller, I have TikTok. It's not something I'm bragging on, but I have TikTok. And when I downloaded Triller to see, Versus and everything else, I'm like, this shit looks the exact same.
See, I didn't even know
It's kind of built the same way. So just looking at that is just interesting.
That's hella funny.
Don't
shy away from your TikTok career. Follow the Mind of Ralph on TikTok. Wait, is that your name on TikTok?
Yeah.
Okay, follow the Mind of follow the Mind of Ralph on TikTok.
If it's the Mind of Ralph, 99.9% that's me.
Follow my man's on TikTok. I downloaded TikTok, but I've never did a video or anything. I'm too impatient at the moment to really do that shit. I did one reel on the OS page on Instagram, and I'm like, I'm good for the year.
Gotcha.
So yeah, shout out to Paul Pierce, man. I know for a fact he's going to get another job at some point. So before the end of the year, he'll be employed by somebody else.
Yeah.
Oh, might be Barstool or some shit.
Yeah, Barstool or Fox Sports 1. Somebody will give that man another platform. But yeah, that's wild though.
Maybe he had a mental lapse or something, but don't IG live that shit anymore.
Yeah.
Just don't record. Don't even have your phone out.
But speaking of companies breaking the bank for content, we have Netflix paying $30 million for a Kanye West documentary.
Y'all hear my man with the segues?
Hey, man, I'm working on it, man.
Doing it.
But Johnnie, your thoughts on this?
So you actually sent me this today, and reading through the article, this is dope. I would love to see a documentary about Kanye West's career and life. Just because I grew up on Kanye from early in his career. So the documentary is being done by people that Kanye West has worked closely with in his career. A couple directors. And from what I read, Kanye West is not directly tied to it creatively.
Yeah.
But I guess he's given the go ahead because the people that's working on the documentary he's worked closely with in his career, which I think is dope.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think 30 million might be a little cheap for a Kanye West documentary. So Netflix got to steal.
It is like
gotta steal.
That's them going out of business here.
Man, what?
Because no matter what you think about Kanye now, everybody's gonna watch this.
Oh, come on now.
Never
100%.
before seen footage of Ye. Like, 5 beats a day for 3 summers Ye. Like, we getting that.
Yeah.
Oh no, we got to see that. So I'm not sure where we kind of got an idea where it starts. We're not sure necessarily where it ends. I think it kind of goes up to, it says in the article, this series is to include never before seen footage of West, which will cover his career in music and fashion, his failed 2020 presidential bid, and the death of his mother, Donna West. So it seems like it's covering everything up damn near to the divorce.
Right.
So
and it's gonna be a multi-part series, which means we getting all the shit to sound like all of it.
I'm with that,
and I'm here for it.
Yeah, let me ask you this: what do you think? Well, I mean, it's hard to predict things like this. I'm gonna ask anyway. What do you think? Like you'll be able to walk away from this documentary with?
Honestly, that Kanye West is not as crazy as we thought he was. Maybe. But that's the only thing I can think of right now. Like, maybe we'll see. Because, I mean, we saw the transition of him being the genius musician that he was into what we deem to be crazy Kanye today. We've only seen it in the spotlight. We didn't see anything that was going on behind the scenes. Yeah. So, maybe throughout the documentary, we'll start to see bits and pieces like, oh snap, that happened during this time. So maybe that started the transition. Yeah.
Selfishly, like, I don't know if this is selfish, but it's like, I'd rather it focus on the music than his life. If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I would want to see how this album came together versus whatever happened outside of that. But, you can't have, I don't know. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. That's just content. Like, I think it'd be dope. Like, I just want to see how these albums came together. Like, how much parts are we talking? Like,
That's the thing. That's the thing. And like, listen, I feel like this won't be the only Kanye documentary ever. So just like we get damn near one documentary on Biggie every year, a year and a half, or some shit like that. Like, maybe later on down the line, if this isn't so much specifically on the music of Kanye, maybe we'll get a music documentary on Kanye at some point in the future.
Yeah, it just seems like that with this, they're focusing on life. And, the music is a part of his life, obviously, but I think it's just a focus more so on, like, the upbringing, the coming up. Yeah. Maybe some of the industry, when he was Kanye, but I don't think it's going to focus on the music. And, some parts, I don't know. Like, maybe when I see it, I'll care, but right now, I just don't really care about that.
Yeah. Which is fair. I'm in a position, I'm at an age in life now where I want to see documentaries on the musicians that I grew up on. Like, we get all the Aretha's and, all which is great, dope. I'm never downplaying that. But the people that I grew up on, like, I want to see Bad Boy documentaries. I want to see Rockefeller documentaries. I want to see No Limit I want to see that because that's what I grew up on when I was a teenager and young adult. Yeah. I want to see that. So,
but staying on Kanye. Kanye had a recent it was an outlash. He jumped, bucked up at what was it, Big Boy? Was it Big Boy?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was Big Boy. Yeah. I don't know if he was like a buck up. He was just responding to a question. Yeah. But let me pull the question up. So Kanye West responds to the people saying he turned his back on the culture. So let's listen to this real quick. You ever heard that, right?
Yeah. What the fuck was Kanye talking about?
So Big Boy asked Kanye, what is your response to the culture saying people saying you turned your back on the culture? And Kanye kind of goes on a mini rant. But I feel like I understand what Kanye was saying, but for whatever reason, when Kanye tries to express his thoughts, they don't come across clear.
Yeah.
What I think he was trying to say is, look, our culture has for many years like pushed the idea that we need to be flashy, we need to get women, do all of these things that I guess put us in the spotlight to get arrested and get sent to jail, when it might be a good idea maybe for our music to push ownership. Now he specifically said buy land.
Mm-hmm.
Now the average Black American can't just say, hey, I want to go buy some land, let me go find a realtor and buy some land.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I get that. But at some point, why not pull like 20 people together, pull whatever money you can give to go buy maybe a piece of property or something. It doesn't even have to be a house. It could be a mobile home. It could be a vending machine. Like it could be something small and you can work your way up. I think that's what he was saying. Like instead of us wanting to go out and buy Gucci and all these designer stuff,
mm-hmm.
why not let us just maybe buy a piece of stock in the designer or stuff like that. I think what he was trying to do is say, let's change the narrative of how we should maybe spend our money and how we can come together as a culture. I feel like
you can't really kick that when you got $300 sneakers. It's hard for me.
I get it.
It's hard for me. It's hard for me to I mean,
and to me,
mm-hmm.
they ugly anyway. Like I would never. I personally won't buy or wear Yeezy. Like if somebody buy me something, cool. But I'm not going to buy Yeezys. I don't like the way they look.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me.
I'm not going to offend you, but
Yeah, but I do understand what you're saying. Like you don't really want to hear that coming from Kanye because he has.
Not even that. It's just like, well, well, okay, yeah. It's like, how can you sit there and say we want to buy all this designer and stuff like that, but you don't discourage people from buying your stuff, and then even then, like your price point is ridiculous.
So like if his price point was, let's just say, more reasonable, would what he's saying make more sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're shooting like if a new pair of Yeezys comes out and they're $300, I can take that $300 and do the same thing that you're telling me that I should do with my money.
True.
Or I can take that $300 and buy the designer stuff. Like Yeezy is, it's not designer, but it's.
So it's more like a practice what you preach type of thing.
Yeah, like I mean, it's just interesting. Like you can't sit here and tell me that when you desire to have luxury, when you desire to build your brand to be luxury as well. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's not considered luxury, but those price points are ridiculous.
Yeah,
get a Yeezy t-shirt. Yeah, I'm just saying, like it ain't even just the sneakers. Yeezy is an entire brand. That is $1 billion brand,
right,
by itself. Like
definitely. So if you come out with a Macy's line of shoes and t-shirts and jeans and stuff, then we're good.
I don't know. I don't shop at Macy's, so I don't really care. But it's one of those things. It's just like I hear you, but I can't hear you.
Yeah, like I hear you, but you're not living what you're talking, basically. And I get that, and I feel like once he got to a certain, from what he was saying in that clip, I feel like he has always felt that way.
Yeah.
But because of his status and his investments and how he was able to actually launch Yeezy and provide these types of shoes at these price points, mm-hmm. he's maybe lost sight of it. Like you can preach it, but once you got the access that you have now, you haven't even tried to, give back on that type of stuff. Like,
well, most billionaires and most rappers, most billionaires, mm-hmm. when they reach a certain level, they do start preaching like this is what we can do to improve. Like let's just take it and not make it a black person thing. Like, I'm pretty sure Bezos preached the same shit. Warren Buffett probably said something like that too. But, we don't care about them because they don't look like us.
So, no, I get it.
We hold black billionaires to a crazy standard.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they're rich. It doesn't, like, honestly, honestly, I didn't care about Kanye brain about this like, until you brought it up. Like, listen, out in one ear, out the other. This is not something that I genuinely care about because, like, trust me, if you get $1 billion, you didn't do it, just.
Oh yeah, it's like
kissing, handshaking, baby.
It's a quote that I heard about billionaires. It's like I wish I could remember it, but it's like. Nobody has made $1 billion legally or something like that. Like you have to rely on the work of others to get $1 billion or something to that degree. But yeah. Anyway, I thought the clip was interesting when I just scrolled across my timeline, so I wanted to share it.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Yeah. But speaking of the culture, we have the house party reboot is rearing its ugly head. Spring Hill Entertainment, which is LeBron's production company ran by him and Maverick Carter, have decided to partner with New Line Cinema, who owns the rights to House Party, and do a reboot for this generation. They have actually casted the new leads to actually play, not kid and play, but play those roles in the movies. George Lindenberg Jr. and Hassan Cole will star in the new film.
So no disrespect to these young brothers because I've never seen any of their work. But I don't know if I want anything LeBron James produced except for The Shop on HBO. I like that show. But I don't know how I feel about this. Like I'm not excited.
Before you slander LeBron's producing stuff, have you ever watched Survivor's Remorse?
I have. Oh, that was LeBron.
But okay.
Survivor's Remorse was a great show, and it ended abruptly.
A lot of his stuff is great. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you just want to throw a shot.
I did. I know. I did 100%.
That's why I can lightweight have faith in this because of the track record. Usually reboots aren't the best thing, especially with something that's beloved as House Party, because we're always going to compare it to what was in 1990. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no iconic dance move that's gonna happen in here. There's no like do kids even have house parties anymore? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Not in the past.
Boy, actually,
yeah. Now look, I as soon as I finished the sentence, I remember some videos I saw. But
I mean, usually now this is actually a smart play. If you have an established name, you don't want to be a part of this project. You don't build your name, do something else, baby. Like I'm telling you, trust me. I don't know who you would get to play these, play the kid and play characters from, House Party. I'm not sure, but that movie is just so iconic. I'm not even sure how you can even.
What I will say, the fact that, well, at least to me, these two actors that have been cast as the lead roles are relatively unknown.
Yeah.
It does have the potential to be good.
Yeah.
Now I will say that.
Yeah.
So I did just want to slander LeBron, but I'm not going to say I have hope for it. But I'm definitely going to watch for the culture, and it has the potential to be good. So if it does turn out good, I won't be as surprised because the leads at least are not that well known. So there's like no standard for me to like really hold them to.
Yeah.
So
now the thing with this is you have some of the original hands from the first movie, the Hudlin brothers, Reginald Hudlin being from East St. Louis. Shout out to the Kings. He is exec producing this film, which he was a producer on the original film.
Okay.
So kind of having those hands, and Reginald Hudlin really don't miss if you check the track record. So that's another level of optimism that I have.
Okay.
Usually Hudlin don't put his name on bullshit. I'm just telling you, if you go check the IMDb or the Wikipedia page, look at it.
Well, give me something that he's doing.
What's the movie with Thurgood Marshall? He did that.
Okay.
He did House Party. Obviously, he did something else too. Like we look it up.
All this technology, right?
Right.
But yeah, while we looked it up, initially hearing about this, I was like, come on, man, why are we doing another reboot? But again, after reading the article and seeing the two leads that I don't, I've never seen any of their other work, I was like, okay, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Now, these are the films where he was like either director or the writer on, right? You have House Party. I'm gonna do the most notable, right? House Party, Boomerang, Baby's Kids, Great White Hype, Ladies Man, Marshall. Now that's a big time jump. Black Godfather, that documentary on Netflix that was very, very good about Clarence Avant.
Okay. I think you told me about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Boomerang and Baby's Kids. I didn't realize those was in the same year. All right, cool.
You really don't miss.
Yeah. Okay. I might be rolling. Did it? I can't remember. But did the article say when this was coming out, or was it scheduled like production or something?
No, it's probably like in pre-production. They're just talking about the people being casted.
Gotcha.
It's been the script has been written and things like that. And also, he did Django as a producer. And he did Burning Sands. I didn't know that. That Netflix movie. Yeah, let's see.
Cool. So yeah, it'll probably be out like 2024, 25 or something.
Damn, for a house party film? This ain't no Marvel movie?
They in pre-production now.
How long is it gonna take to film that?
Listen, LeBron got the finals and shit. I don't know.
LeBron slapped his name on that. He ain't doing it. What you talking about? Like, LeBron got the finals.
I'm just trying to give him some time, man.
2024?
Listen, it'll be here before you know it.
Yeah.
You gonna blink his gun. It'll be here before you know it.
Come on.
So you think it's coming out next year?
I ain't saying next. I mean, it could though. It's a house party. Like, what budget? What CGI? Like, what are we doing?
That shit ain't coming out next year.
I didn't say. I'm not saying they do.
I'm saying 2024. Damn it. Fuck it. That's when it's coming out. 2.5 years from now. All right. What we got? What we got next?
Man, let's just talk about Netflix, man. Netflix has a deal with Sony to release any future Spider-Man properties, and I'm assuming anything that has been done previously will be not exclusively on Netflix.
Yes.
That it?
Yep.
That's a huge thing. You know, if you're solely into Spider-Man, like I mean, let me get my bars off first on this one.
Go ahead.
This is cool, but that is so niche. Like, I mean, I don't really care that Morbius is gonna be on there first. I don't care about that. Like, I've seen, like, Spider-Man movies are pretty much overall entertaining. You know what I'm saying? I don't even really slander the Amazing Spider-Man like that. It's not something that I really want to watch again.
True.
But I don't slander it the way that critics have. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, this is cool, but, like...
That's funny.
That's not enough, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay.
I think this is a huge move for Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
So Sony has an exclusive deal with Stars right now. So I think all of Sony movies are exclusively on Stars currently, and that contract is upcoming, like is going to be done soon. Mm-hmm. So Netflix jumped in and was like, "Hey yo, let me get that."
Yeah.
I think this is huge for Netflix because I don't even think I opened my Netflix app in hellas. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how many other people have been like that as well, but I feel like they, on top of the Kanye West doc, like they need some shit to get people back to Netflix. So I think this is big for Netflix, and I can't recall. I don't think it's limited to Spider-Man movies. I think it's like all of Sony's properties. Because Sony seems like the only major movie studio that doesn't have their own streaming service. So with Netflix coming to jump on that, and it's like an 18-month exclusive contract that they're going to have, I think it's a good idea. It's a really good look for Netflix.
Yeah. I mean, you have very, very, very valid points, and I'll give you that. I'm just not understanding like what other properties Sony has, because this usually when it makes a splash like this, when you think of Warner Brothers and HBO Max, okay, we can talk about that. You know what I'm saying?
And maybe that's why Sony hasn't even attempted to mention anything about Sony Plus or something like that.
And then even in this article here, you have Disney Plus, Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus. Yeah, so Paramount is a big movie studio, and they got their own joint. You got HBO Max, and then you got Peacock, which is Universal movies.
Yep.
So Sony, you know, okay, that's cool that you're on Netflix, but if your biggest properties are Spider-Man and that's what you're leading with, you ain't got nothing. Like, okay, you ain't got nothing else but Spider-Man movies. Like, that's your cash cow?
I think so. Which is, again, why they don't have a Sony Plus. Because they ain't got shit to put.
No, that's fair, but I mean, like, everybody's not going to be in. Like, Spider-Man's a huge deal. I'm not sure it changes Spider-Man, but it's just from a holistic business standpoint. Like, okay, y'all only got Spider-Man, but I'm pretty sure Disney Plus got some of their stuff too, right? Like, or no?
Nah, so
like they probably got the movies where Spider-Man is featured in, but not his solo films. Man.
Yeah, so like, of course, Civil War, Endgame, Infinity War. Yeah, that's on Disney Plus because that's Marvel movies, MCU movies. But the solo Spider-Man joints and all of the solo Spider-Man enemy joints, Morbius, all that type of shit. Venom, that's Sony. Those are Sony properties. So
I guess for me to like really have like a complete view of this, like I probably need to see what Sony movies other than Spider-Man, because that's not gonna be enough.
Yeah, right. Let's see what Sony.
I'm just saying, because that's
it's real light.
Real like, so you trying to sell me this? Oh, pretty much like you gonna watch want to watch one ideation of each Spider-Man, like you know what I'm saying, and intro to the Spider-Verse. Like that's what we doing. Like
they got Men in Black, Men in Black, Ghostbusters, Jumanji,
and that's probably the new joints.
Yeah. Charlie's Angels.
All trash.
There's an Angry Birds movie.
See, big trash. Like
I didn't know this.
See why this is like
Greyhound.
Like,
hey, you ever seen The Escape Room? The Escape Room is actually
no, I haven't.
That's actually dope. Okay. Like, I think you might like.
Ain't that hold on? Ain't Invisible Man a Sony property?
I believe so.
It was trash.
I watched it. It was okay. Yeah.
That's real light ass. I know, man. That's just what I'm saying. Yeah, Brightburn. All right, that's real light.
The Equalizer.
That ain't enough.
No, you're right. Equalizer fire. Wait, there's an Emoji movie?
See, look.
What are we doing?
Sony, that's what you're giving us? That's why they hold on to Spider-Man so tough.
This is why they don't have no damn Sony Plus. Hitch. Okay, all right.
See why I was standing tall? That's why I was standing tall, baby. I was like, this ain't it. This ain't enough. They led with this because, like, think about this, right? When you had the conversations about HBO Max and Warner Brothers, they was like, well, we got the DC properties and we got this, we got that, we got, like, Disney Plus, you might have all the Marvel movies, but we got Disney, Disney movies, we have
they got Pixar,
they
got Star Wars,
they got everything in Star Wars, so it's kind of like,
somebody just needs to pay Sony Pictures like the huge bag just so they can keep Sony properties on their streaming service, because Sony clearly isn't going to.
Well, this seems like an actual mutual benefit.
No, that's true. But you know what? It would make sense, I guess, from a business standpoint. It would make sense for Sony to keep these quick 18, 24-month contracts with different streaming services just so they keep getting paid every two or so years, unless somebody come with the crazy amount where they can just keep it on there for a longer time. So I guess business-wise, it's smart for Disney. Smart for Sony.
Extremely smart.
Yeah, so shout out to Sony and Netflix.
Right. Well, since we're on the conversation of business and blur talk and all that great stuff, let's have this overarching conversation that I think we've had probably off wax a million times. Mm-hmm. But is the movie industry and TV industry becoming oversaturated? No pun intended.
Pun intended.
Okay, well, pun intended. With superhero content. And I know people want to hear our hard-hitting takes on this. I know they do. Yeah, let's get into it, bro.
Man, listen. Superhero movies aren't a new thing. Like, they haven't been a new thing. But the popularity of them has been a new thing just within the last 10 or so years.
Yeah.
We've had Blade. We've had Blade was one of the good ones, but we've had a bunch of Batman, Superman movies. Yeah. We've had Elektra, Daredevil movies. Those movies were terrible.
Catwoman.
Oh my God. Catwoman. So we've had superhero movies.
Yeah.
But with the beginning of the MCU with Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk in 2008, and the popularity of the phase 1 of the MCU, I feel like we've seen a slew of other comic book movie franchises and TV shows since then. And no more so than the last couple years. So Netflix has, there's a new movie with Octavia Spencer and Melissa McCarthy that's coming out on Netflix this year. And this is superhero themed. Right, crazy, right? Look at Ralph's face. Crazy, right? But then I also saw another trailer that a friend of mine sent me about something called Jupiter's Legacy that's coming out on Netflix as well. I think this is a TV show. But it's like, how many, like, it seems like everybody is jumping on the bandwagon. It's like a trend. And I feel like at the moment it's not getting watered down, but if it continues, it's going to start getting overplayed and watered down.
You know where this went left?
Where?
When Marvel proved that you can take somebody that wasn't popular in a comic and make a film about them.
No, that's real.
So
that's real. With
Iron Man being who you hate, not who you hate, but you just hate the fact that he's the focal point. Tony Stark being the focal point of the MCU.
It's just after so many years.
No, I was just saying, no. I know you don't hate him, but no, it's just like you take someone that, like, if you ask anybody that reads comics, like, I never was a comic guy, but like, when I first heard that there was an Iron Man, I was like, Iron Man?
I'm sure you and a bunch of other people too.
Like, Iron Man? Yeah. Like, that don't even sound look like the dude in the suit. Like, that's it? Like, but I think the thing with that, you take these C, maybe D-list characters, and you give them movies and you make them popular. Yeah. Like, it was just a perfect marriage between Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr. That is a perfect marriage. Especially where he was in his career at the time. It was just a perfect marriage. And it happened and it spawned into something beautifully. So I think just the success of something that wasn't supposed to be popular spawned what we have now. Because think about it like this. You tell me Thor wasn't that nigga, Thor wasn't that man. Like, he wasn't out here like that. Nah. And then when you notice that people appreciate the intricacy of movies and Easter eggs and things like that, you can never go wrong. Yeah. Like, Captain America is a big name, but I don't think people really rock with it like that. As far as like, oh, we're gonna watch a Captain America movie.
Right. Even then, like,
that sounds nuts.
It's not, nobody's going to watch the first Captain America movie. The MCU heads like us, like, we'll watch Civil War, and like the casual fan will go and watch Civil War because that's essentially an Avengers movie.
Yeah, and the thing with like a Batman, Superman, they were always lauded as great roles to have. Right. You know what I'm saying? But when you just saying like, I want to be in a superhero flick, they're like, like in the acting, I guess in Hollywood, like saying a superhero film, like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely not. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Which is crazy because now phase 4 of the MCU, some of these movies, like, they getting big names. Like Keanu Reeves about to be in one, like a bunch of other people.
And that's the thing. When you start getting some good, great box office names to marry with this material, you get you see the bucks.
Man, what?
And if I'm such and such, you dang go check in front of me.
Man, listen.
Like, you know what I'm saying? You'll be surprised. Man, Leonardo DiCaprio might jump in one of these joints real quick. Like,
I was about to say Donald Glover. Robert Downey Jr. got paid $10 million to be in like 4 scenes of the first Spider-Man, the Spider-Man Homecoming. $10 million to be in 4 scenes. 4 scenes. That's insane. That is insane. So like, yeah, like,
I think just the overall success of C&D list, characters from the comics got us where we are now. Because like Guardians of the Galaxy, like, you couldn't sell me on that film before.
Me either. When they announced Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, this is about to be trash. Like, this is about to be the MCU's first miss. I said that.
Oh no, it's up there. It's up there. Depending on who you ask, it's up there.
Did you felt that way about Ant-Man?
Oh,
do you still feel that way about him?
Like, okay,
kind of.
Ant-Man is one of those, like, I guess it's like, okay, let's make a DCEU reference for once, right?
Okay.
It's kind of like, he can be in the films, but he doesn't have to have his own film. He can be like a Flash. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, some people want, some people, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure Johnnie wants to see a Flash movie.
I do.
I'll be okay if they never made a Flash movie.
Listen.
But he can be spots in this film because, like, mostly the Flash is just comic relief anyway to the greater scheme of the film.
Which is fucked up, but yeah.
But
Flashpoint is one of the best stories in DC, like the comics. So actually, I got a DVD for you.
It's a dope movie. I think I said it already.
Okay, all right, got you. But anyway, yeah. So yeah.
But yeah, it's just if you ain't Batman and Superman, my guy, like it's what we doing is like, oh, you gonna play Thor? Okay, cool,
right? Right. Nice.
But I mean, it does take a level of commitment from the actors, the studio, the writers, the directors, the producers. Mm-hmm. Everybody has to obviously make a film work. But when you're talking about superheroes, you're talking about like something that has source material, not something that you just written out of the sky. You know what I'm saying? So you do have a point of reference, which I think is good for an actor. Like you can, go read a few comics to figure out who this person, or how this character is, and how you should attack it as an actor. Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
It's just I think I don't want with the success of even TV shows like you have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which went off air last year. You had a couple seasons of Agent Carter. You have The Boys on Amazon Prime. Have you gotten into that yet?
I don't have Prime anymore.
Oh, got you. So you have that. It's a new show on Amazon Prime called Invincible. It's animated. Yeah. But that's another superhero-esque type show. And a lot of these are getting a little bit more edgier, a lot more darker, because there's a lot more killing in them as well.
And that's another trend too. Like when you were able to take superheroes away from the era of Adam West Batman, like the cheesy pow bat, you know what I'm saying, that type of thing. Man. And that those are many moons ago, obviously. But when you're talking about like making a superhero feel like it fits in the world that you live, not some comic booky, sci-fi fantasy world. Mm-hmm. Like when you make Batman feels like he's not in Gotham, he's in St. Louis. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever city that you're from, right? Like you feel like Gotham is your city. Like
that's hella funny. But facts. Oh man. It's just a lot. I feel like it's a lot. As of right now, I feel like the landscape of the superhero genre of movies and TVs is still in a good place. Mm-hmm. But if it continues, like if a lot of these companies continue to make these types of shows and stuff,
do you blame them for going for what's profitable?
No, but still, it's like From a profit standpoint, I understand, but like, where's the creativity? I guess that's my thing.
Oh yeah. Well, we always have those conversations about creativity, and then like you don't really have to reinvent the wheel with superhero films. You already know how it goes. Origin story: he gets his powers, or she gets their powers. They're figuring themselves out. They go through a low point. They get to the big boss battle. They fight. They might, they barely win. Then they go on to the next, villain. Yeah. And I think once you understand the certain dynamics of superhero films, like it can become very, very repetitive. Like I just gave you the sequence. I just gave you the formula. Yeah. That's pretty much every superhero film. You want to keep it at buck.
I mean, yeah. And honestly, even down to the TV shows, it's like in a season, it's in a season of a superhero show. Yeah. It's the same sequence, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like they've tried to differentiate themselves by telling the perspective of the hero teetering on being an anti-hero or even possibly being a villain at some point, or even telling the story from a villain standpoint and making us like the villain, and now we have a moral encompass. It's like, oh snap, like damn, I really like him, but he fucking up. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a double-edged sword. Like, I mean, until you gotta run that well till the water runs dry. Like, I mean, like as a moviegoer, as someone that appreciates movies and appreciate acting. Like, I can say this for sure. I'm elated what they've been able to do. Like, these actors have been able to do with these certain characters. Like, just bring a level of humanity to whoever they're playing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's good to see. But yeah, like, as an actor, I would want to do one, maybe two, and get the hell on. Like,
right. But shoot, if you sign on for MCU or maybe a DCEU, you signing on for 4 or 5 projects because you will have your own. You'll have your own movie probably. You will have the team up movie, and you may cameo in somebody. Yeah, so it's a commitment. It's definitely a commitment.
It's a big commitment, and you know, like you get situations like your man. They played Superman. They had the mustache situation.
Henry.
Henry Cavill or whatever. But yeah, he was committed to playing the villain or a character in a Mission Impossible movie that had a mustache, and he looks crazy. He looks nuts. But when they had to do the reshoots for Justice League, you can see the CGI that looks crazy on his face. So it's like that's funny. But I mean, just with that being said, it's a double-edged sword, yes and no. To answer the question of is the superhero genre in movies and TV being oversaturated? Yeah. But I mean, it's filling the gap of the lack of creativity in other areas in Hollywood. If you want to be completely honest, because there's no original other content for, like, you know, TV shows and sitcoms and dramas, and like there's nothing else. Like, we're just gonna keep making mob movies. We're gonna keep making slave movies. We're gonna keep making, you know,
keep doing reboots.
Yeah, reboots.
Even with these streaming services, a lot of these streaming services now are bringing or doing reunion shows or specials or reboots of older properties that we grew up on. Maybe our aunts and parents grew up on as well. Like, they about to do a Friends reunion or some shit like that. Like, they doing a lot of that type of stuff. So, yeah, man. Well, I guess we'll continue to monitor this at Oversaturated.
Well, I mean, I mean, if you tuned into our YouTube, we do our cap. Why I say cap?
Every time. Falcon and Winter Soldier reviews. So shout out to Falcon and Winter Soldier. There's only 2 episodes left. So yeah,
I'm so disappointed about that.
Listen, it should happen.
I know.
It's just easy. Falcon and Cap, same thing.
It's Cap. I always want to say Captain.
Okay.
But, you know, we'll talk about that. You know, if you guys, you know, check out the YouTube or whatever. So,
yeah, man. But, damn, is that it? That's all we got?
I think we're good for the week, man. But, you know, YouTube, we're about to get into Song of the Week. We appreciate you guys for tuning in.
Yes.
If this is your first time, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And we'll holler at y'all next week.
Appreciate y'all.
Peace.